I'm adjusting the length of my boom, then it's really hard to deal with the knots. And this is something that I've been running for 20 some years and I've rigged up myself. Just a lanyard to bring it in. I'll show you a demonstration here in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to show you how to mount these. Right? That fish would have to have in the corner of the meat. Don't want to confuse anybody. I am a hardcore, die-hard Canon fan. I can't say enough about them. They make my job super easy as a charter boat captain, and I don't run a deckhand. And the reason why I don't run a deckhand is because of these units right here. They're worth their weight in gold. With that said, I'm putting a Scotty product on there because it's better than the one that Canon puts out. But for years, I've had my own, which you will see in another video that he's going to clip into this where they're in use salmon fishing, and it's just tied back off to my Canon Downriggers. Actually, now it's wrapped in my cleat, but I just tie it back either to the bull rail or I tie it off. And if I'm adjusting the lengths of my boom, then it's really hard to deal with the knots. And this is something that I've been running for 20 some years and I've rigged up myself. Just a lanyard to bring it in. I'll show you a demonstration here in a little bit. But for now, I'm going to show you how to mount these. And I've done a little trial and error, and I found that it's better to mount it on the back side of the downrigger towards the motor. And the reason is because when I swing this, I don't have to adjust. It's coming in, it's getting slack. If I mount it over here, I've got to constantly feed it slack to bring it around. So the reason why I'm mounting it on this side right here is so I don't have to worry about that coming tight. And just one more thing, it's all about efficiency on a boat. You just want to make everything life easy. So I'm going to crack into this. It comes with all the stuff to mount. It comes with the screws in here. It comes with crimps if you want to re-crimp yours. I use copper crimps, but this is the unit here. We're just going to untangle it. I played around with the drill size. I kind of eyeballed it next to the drill, the actually drill bit, and kind of eyeballed it, and I wanted a nice tight fit because I'm going through aluminum hull, and I got it a little tight, so it actually cracked and broke. So it broke the screw because the stainless is super soft. And so I went with the next size drill bit. Right now I'm running a 9/64, and it seems to be super tight, but it doesn't break the screw. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by disconnecting my downrigger ball, and I'm going to force my setup off of here. And then I'm going to force this one back over. You could cut it or whatever, or if you're just starting from fresh, then you just run the line through. I'm going to hook this back up on here so I don't lose it over the boat and in the water. I'm going to hang this back up on this handy little loop for now. I've got a pole holder here, so I want to kind of keep it out of the pole holder way, so I'm going to try to mount it as far away from this pole as I can, because the halibut reel will be right here. And so I'm going to grab the drill, start my first hole. I can actually even angle it a little bit. It doesn't have to be, but it's going to be going towards that point. Got it marked. Drill it as straight as you can, because when you put your screw in, there's not much room for your screw to go in here. So you want to keep it as straight up and down as possible. make sure that you don't have anything like control leads or underneath. So I'm reaching underneath there and making sure I'm not gonna drive through and poke something through my hydraulic steering or electrical. Okay, there's one screw. I use a corrosion block. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But this is a grease I have that's handy. And the only reason why I'm putting it on the screw is it'll just help it cut into the aluminum and go in a little easier without snapping the screw. You probably don't need it, but I've already snapped one screw and it seemed to help on the other side that I just mounted, so I'm doing it again. Super tight fit. I mean, I'm borderline of breaking that screw again. And there it goes, it's all the way through. Give it a little snug, then I'll come back and snug this one up. Alright, so this is done. So the mechanics of this is you lift it up, pull it tight, drop it down in the teeth, and then it grabs and it won't go back out. See, I mean, I could really pull on that. Could be out in rough water, that thing could be flopping around and it's not going to go anywhere. Another helpful tip is, as you can see, I mounted on this side so you swing to the inside. Another helpful tip is a lot of people like to mount them here. Okay, that's fine. If you've only got 2 Cannon downriggers, that's great. I've got 5. And the reason is, nothing is bulletproof. And I know that. No matter how good a product they come out with, something happens. And I put a lot of wear and tear on these things. These things are working their butts off for me every day. And a lot of people mount this little tether, the clamp jaws, to their downrigger. The reason why I mounted it to my boat and not to my downrigger is because if I do that, then every time I change out downrigger heads, you know, if it goes down or it's not counting right or whatever and I gotta send it off, then I may be missing that piece and then I've got to buy a whole nother set. So what I do is I'm going to mount it to here and it's super easy to take off. I pull that downrigger unit off, I send it off for repairs, I throw another downrigger on here. I don't have to remount another one every time. So that's why I mounted it to my boat and not to my downrigger. I'm going to snug this up. When you're trying to use your extension and you're trying to get it out there 5 feet away from the boat, you make an inside turn, you're coming to your starboard side, and you've got this one out at 80 feet, it's laid out there a ways, it will come back and chop off your downrigger. I mean, your downrigger cable will get in your kicker motor and your prop, and it'll cut it off immediately. So having them out away from the boat is really nice, keeping your gear from getting tangled up. It's just another feature. So having these lanyards is super nice and it makes it really efficient. So now, even though I got this pretty tight, I can roll this in and I'm getting more slack, not coming tight. If I was on this side and I had it tight like that, then it would come tight and I'd have to keep adjusting this lanyard, and I don't want to deal with that. So with that said, I'll have you guys take a look from the other side and I will kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. Without this lanyard and having this boom extended out to 5 feet, it is a total pain in the butt to be able to get out here and get your gear every time. So you have to reach out. I'm a short guy, I'm only 5'4". I got to reach out here and try to grab this every time to be able to clip on my line for the salmon. And time is money, time is lost fish. I've never seen a fish jump in the boat. That's my grandfather's famous saying, is turn that gear over, keep it in the water. Never seen a fish that'll jump in the boat to bite a hook. So if it's not in the water, it's not where the fish are, you're not gonna catch. And over a period of a day, 5 minutes up here in the boat could be a loss of an hour, hour and a half worth of fishing time. So turning over that gear and keeping them in the fish so you can get more in the boat is super important. These lanyards help you with that. Instant, grab it, let it go, clip on your line, send it down. Super easy. Even on my rental boats, I have a lanyard for them. Another bad thing, you know, I like to run steel because these are positive ion Canon downriggers. If I just plunk this out, it'll snap. I mean, this little steel cable, it's thin and it's designed to cut through the water. I mean, you're not wanting big old cable. You want to be able to have your downrigger straight down, and the bigger the diameter of the cable, the more drag it's going to cause in the water, and it's going to put your gear farther and farther out, which makes it shallower and hard to determine. When I look at my Garmin electronics and I see a fish at 50 feet, I want to know that I hit 50 feet and I'm in those fish. I don't want to try to hit 50 or try to hit 60, 70 to try to, just trying to make up for the line angle. So with that said, I do not want to throw this out. So I let go of the ball and I let it slide down easy. After it's in the water and I want to gear it up, I reach out. I made my own lanyards. I made them a little longer for me because I'm short, and I just clip on the client's gear and send them. When I want to retrieve them in and put them away, I put them here, tighten them up. Oh, one other thing, so I can tighten them up, they're done. I can still pivot it in and not come tight. That's why I mounted it on this side. One other thing is when you set these, and this will get you. So this swivel is big. It's a pretty good snap swivel, and I go metal to metal because I want that electric current to go down and hit this brass and the lead, and it adds to the current. But if I set this out, okay, and I leave it extra slack, bring it up so you can see it. So if I leave it extra slack, you see how that insulator comes down and hits on that swivel? A lot of times it will hang up on that swivel. You'll go to set your depth and send it down, and it'll actually hang there, and it'll come tight on this, and your downrigger will backlash. And then you've got a gnarly mess to deal with, and clients wanting to fish, and your wasted time. So when you get this on here, that's another thing about this little lock. I want it a little snug. It doesn't have to be much, but you should be able to see it from that angle to where it's a little tight. So every time I come up, it's not dropping down and getting hung up on that snap swivel. Because every once in a while it will hang on that barb of that snap swivel, and then it'll just come tight and your cannonball's not falling. It stops right next to the boat, but your downrigger thinks it's still letting down to 50 or 60 feet, and by the time you notice it, you've got a serious backlash. So I hope these tips help everybody. I hope everybody has a good time out in the outdoors. And if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. Please check out the other videos. Send me a comment, share it with friends, and enjoy the outdoors, friends and family. Back in the stacking.